Great to see you here again. Let's continue with this new video. And this new video, I will look at the 10 steps to project success. I said before, I created like a 10-step approach that can be used to create a project, to execute a project, and to repeat success. These steps are not perfect. They're not including all the processes like we will see in the following videos, but basically it gives you a step-by-step approach that even after this course, you will be able to follow and perhaps even create your own project using those 10 steps. We look at the steps in initiation, the steps in planning, in execution, monitor, and control, and then finally in closing. In total, I selected 10 steps. Let's have a look. First element that we have is the initiation, and here we look at charter and stakeholders. In planning, we look at the project plan and the baselines. In the deliverables, in execution, we create the deliverables. When we look at monitor and control, we report progress and we deal with change requests. And at the end, we have the closing where we have as-built plans, lessons learned, closing contracts, knowledge management, and things like that. But let's first have a look at the initiation process step. There is only one step in initiation that I included in the 10-step process, basically because there are not so many things that we do here, and we look at the creation of the project charter and identification of the stakeholders. So these are basically the only things that we're going to do here. There is a model charter that you will be able to download when we are starting after in some other videos when we're starting to talk about the charter. The charter is only created once, and we select the project because it has a business value. On the other hand, the fact that we selected the project means that we have an acceptable risk level and that the financial parameters are in favor of creating value. Now, once the project has been selected, the sponsor starts making the charter, preferably together with a project manager assigned to the project. The earlier a project manager is assigned to the project, the better results can be expected. And it's both the technical experience of the project manager together with the demands by the needs for the sponsor that you can create a good charter that describes everything. It's very important to have a clear vision on what's going to happen. When we look at the planning process step, we have more steps. First of all, we have the second step in this 10-step process, which is about requirements, the scope, the work breakdown structure, the work packages, and the activities. Step 3 is about roles and responsibilities, estimates, and PERT estimation. Step 4 is about dependencies. We are looking at networking methods, which can be the arrow diagramming method or the precedence diagramming method. And of course, we will use the critical path method. Step 5 is about the project schedule and the Gantt. We're creating the schedule, typically on a Gantt chart, so that we have an overview of what the project will be doing and linking it to the calendar. Step 6 is about resources evaluation and resolving issues. Here we're going to add the resources to the project and we are going to resolve issues that relate to the utilization of resources. We have to see that the resources are available and that they are not overutilized. Step 7 is about the project cost and the budget. And step 8, the last step in the planning process step, is risk management. And basically, we will stop with this first course at step 8, where we finish the project management plan. Later in the next course, we will look deeper into certain topics. We will explore more possibilities, more exercises, more ways of calculation, problem solving, and so on. And then we will look at execution, monitor, and control. Now, here we look at project execution and monitoring control, and we combine everything in basically in one step. Now, once the project has been approved, the team can start working on the activities and create the deliverables. Now, it is very important to see that those deliverables are correct, that they have the quality that we desire, and so on. So they have to be controlled, that they are according to the specifications. And of course, here we will communicate with the stakeholders, typically on a weekly basis, and we will tell them what's the progress of the project. We may inform them about necessary changes, or they may request changes. We have to communicate with those people, see what's going to happen, and what the consequences may be of their decisions to implement changes. The last step is the closing process step. This is step 10. Now, sometimes the team doesn't do this. It is clear we have to include closing because it is a very important step. Here we are gathering information about the project. We prepare the project for operations or transfer to the customer. So when we finished everything, for example, a wide area network, it will be delivered to operations, and operations will see what's happening there. And they have to have all the correct information. When we started with the planning, we made some information about certain equipment, but finally we have to see what equipment exactly has been installed. We can say we buy a computer, but what is the serial number of the computer? What are the MAC addresses? What is the software status? What is the software that is loaded? Those are things that may be different from the initial definition that we created during the planning. And it may be that it's just a different type because the old type is not available, or we defined a generic type. I say, I have a computer i9 processor with a memory of 1 tera, RAM of 8 giga, things like that. But basically, this is a general description. It doesn't give the necessary details about the machine itself. There is all necessary documentation, and of course that documentation should be made available for new projects. We're talking also about lessons learned, about evaluating the project and things like that. Closing is very important. We will see there are other things that are going to happen, like closing the contracts and things like that, but that will be for the next course when we go more in detail about these things. So that was basically the introduction of the 10 steps and the 10-step process that you can use to define, to plan, execute, monitor and control and close a project. It will help you like a kind of a checklist telling you what you have to do, even without knowing in depth all those processes that are defined in the PMBOK. So that was it for this session. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you and bye-bye.